Hello and welcome back to Vickie's Country Home. Today I'm making back-to-back videos, but you'll see them separately, so I'm wearing the same thing. Just to clear that little thing up. Today I'm going to make a tomato pie. A couple things that the grasshoppers didn't destroy were my tomato plants. And it's taken a while, but now I'm finally getting a fair amount of tomatoes. Not what I would hope for, but you know what? I'm thankful for what I'm getting. So I have a bunch of Romas and a few early girl tomatoes that are ripe. I need to get them used. And at least once a year, make a tomato pie. They're so good. So that's what I'm doing today. I'm gonna make it a little bit different. Seasonings and stuff, we'll see what I add to it. And I'm gonna use the pie crust from this Vintage Pies cookbook because I absolutely love it. It is so good. So just a regular single crust pie crust. So I'll make that. But first I'm going to prepare the tomatoes so that they'll be ready when it's time to bake. So let's get started. Alright, here are the tomatoes, and if I need more, I have more that are ripe, but we'll see how much this gives. I'll probably make it 2 layers thick, so I'll just have to see how it goes. And what I'm going to be doing is slicing them up, maybe 1/3 inch thick or so. And I'll be laying them in a single layer in a colander, and that's going to help drain the excess liquid out of the tomatoes so the pie isn't soggy. And to help with that, we're going to put some Himalayan pink salt over it and give it about 10-15 minutes, and that will draw a lot of the moisture out. So this is going to be a really nice, meaty tomato pie. So let me get to slicing. And again, just not super thick, but you want to really bite into that tomato. Let me bring you a little closer so you can see. So they're about that thick, but it doesn't have to be perfect because this is a homemade pie and they're not going to be perfect. And these being Romas, they're not going to have as much seeds and liquid as regular slicing eating tomatoes. But they're still going to have some. So, like I said, we're just going to put that in the colander in a nice layer. And I'm going to do the same with the early girls. Just different kind of tomato. And I'll probably have to get out a second colander. That's okay. We just want to make sure these drain and don't get soggy. Let me finish slicing these up and then we'll come back and get the pie crust ready, and then we'll be putting together our pie. Alright, I've got my pie crust made. Now I'm going to blind bake this. First I'm going to put just a little bit of egg wash on the top edges. And nope, this pie crust isn't beautiful, I don't care because it's homemade and it's good. So, to me, taste always wins. Alright, so now I've got the egg wash on it. Now I'm going to put some parchment paper down and some pie weights. So I don't want it puffing up. A little bit more. Okay, now I'm going to bake this, but only for about 8 minutes. We don't want to totally bake it, but we do want it to be just a little bit done on the outside. So I'm going to put it in a 400-degree oven for about 8 minutes, and then we'll come back, let it cool for just a minute, and we'll start adding our ingredients. Alright, now that I've got the pie crust in the oven, I'm going to prepare everything else. I've already got grated Asiago cheese. I don't know how much. Maybe a 3/4 cup to a cup. I don't know. This I had left over from our Napa trip, and it is Parmesan style cheese. And it's all natural and non-GMO, and it's real cheese. I'm just not sure what they did to it. But this is what I have, so I'm going to use that. And then I'm going to use mozzarella cheese. And then I went out to the garden, what I have left, and I have some rosemary, some basil that's rapidly wilting in this heat. Gotta get that washed and done. And then I have some of my Greek oregano. So I'm going to wash these up and add these to it. So we'll come back as soon as that pie crust is ready to fill. Alright, now we're going to start putting this together. And the first thing I need to do, we sprinkled this lightly. I didn't use a lot of Himalayan pink salt. So I put the salt on it to help drain the liquid, and there wasn't that much come out. But now what we need to do is blot these to get excess moisture out. Now, in this case, I'm not going to worry too much because I'm going to add a couple of dehydrated ingredients, and they're going to need some of this moisture, so it'll be good. So I just lightly blotted them with a paper towel, and we're going to start with mozzarella cheese. That's the first layer. You can be as liberal as you want, but the bottom you want a little bit just because it will help keep the crust from getting too soggy. And this is maybe not a true tomato pie, like southern maybe, because I'm kind of making it more Italian, because we like Italian. So I am going to start layering the tomatoes. And we just want to cover the bottom with tomatoes. Alright. Now I'm going to add just a little bit of dehydrated garlic. Don't want to overwhelm it, but definitely want it throughout. And a little bit of dehydrated onions. I don't think the onions are traditional, but I don't care. This is my pie. These flavors go together for me. So now I've got some of my chopped fresh basil. Just a little bit of the rosemary. And some of my Greek oregano. This stuff, I thought the grasshoppers killed it. It came back. Nothing kills this. It's wonderful. Now this is that Parmesan style cheese. So I'm just going to kind of break it up and put it over the top. Now, it'd probably be better with true Parmesan cheese, but you know what? I'm using what I've got, so it's good. Now I've got some shredded Asiago. And we're just going to put some of that on top. And these flavors together are just, oh my gosh, wonderful. And cheesy. This is going to be so good. Now I'm going to add the next layer of tomatoes now that my dog stopped barking. Now if you have big slicing tomatoes, they'll do just fine. This is what I had out of my garden. This would be really good if you have heirloom tomatoes. So anything you've got. Tasty ones preferably. So I don't know about you, but some of these ones from the grocery store have no taste at all. But these Romas are pretty tasty, so we're going to use those. And you know what? I cut up almost exactly the right amount of tomatoes. Look at that. I have 2 little slices. Can I fit them in? There we go. Perfect. That was the entire colander. Alright, so now I'm going to put on more of my oregano. A little bit more of the rosemary. You don't want to go heavy on the rosemary because it's a pretty strong flavor. And then the basil. I'm going to put on the rest of the Asiago. And honestly, do it in whatever way you want. But I like having the layers. You could make just one, but I like having the 2 layers or more. And just the flavor just carries through so well. Then we're going to put some more Parmesan. Now I'm not adding any more salt because we used the salt to help drain some of the fluid out of the tomatoes. So they have plenty on there, and some would have gotten wiped off when I blotted them, but there's still salt on them, so we don't want to add any more. You could, but I really don't think it's necessary. Alright, doesn't that look beautiful? Now, just to make it even better, I have some chopped up cooked bacon. So, because you just have to, right? Well, at least I do. Okay, this is ready to go back in the oven. We're going to put it back in at 400 degrees until everything is nice and melted and golden brown. I don't know how long. I'll let you know when we're all finished. Here it is, and I'm going to call this my Italian tomato pie because it's more Italian than most. And it smells wonderful. It looks wonderful. This crust is so flaky. It's cheesy. It doesn't want to come out. But there you go. This looks wonderful. And I'm not going to taste this because we're about to sit down as a family and have dinner. So just wanted you to see this thing. The tomato pie, the traditional, is wonderful, and add in all this Italian cheese and herbs and it is going to be amazing. Thank you for watching. God bless. If you enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and share, and we'll talk again soon.